Evening, guys.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
What's up? It's your trusty Philip and Morland here. Another
Bring it,
night of the Daily Show.
bring in all the NFT news and some insider tips and everything you need to know.
Yeah, talking about news, just before we get into the real juicy content of today. So, first thing I want to show you here is OpenSea a few days ago was able to raise $300 million, basically putting it at a valuation of $13.3 billion, which is incredible to think. Um, and they're definitely the leader of the NFT market as it stands now. We did do that other video on Shopify and Coinbase coming to the market and the effect that that's going to have, as well as the different markets that are popping up, including yesterday's one that looked rare where they did that token drop. But for now, they're firmly in the first place. Interestingly enough, next behind them is Axie Infinity. But they've got about 20% of the volume that OpenSea is doing. So they raised $300 million in Series C funding. And basically, they've said that they want to be using the funds to improve their customer service. So I really believe that that's them getting ready for the Shopify introduction. As we know, Shopify is known for their customer service, and OpenSea is known for not having any currently. But hopefully that is going to change, which will be good for all of us. But yeah, they're definitely getting ready to be able to take on the big boys that are coming into the space. So it just says here, according to OpenSea, the new funding gives the company a 13.3 billion post-money valuation. OpenSea is the largest marketplace in terms of all-time sales. The company's recorded 14.68 billion in sales across 1,387,357 traders worldwide. Sales are up more than 25% in the last 30 days. The second biggest, Axie Infinity, had a 4 billion, just under 4 billion all-time sales. And yeah, so that's interesting. Very good for all of us, for everyone in the space. The better they can make the experience on OpenSea, the better experience newcomers will have, and the more chance we have of them staying there and getting into the game, instead of having a problem and not being able to get hold of anyone. So that was the one thing I just wanted to bring to you guys. Other thing, which I'm really bullish on, really happy about, one of my favorite companies. I have Disney shares. I have for a long time in my portfolio. I love the company, but they got their patent for metaverse technology that's going to link with reality and AR. Interestingly enough, they're working on something new that is going to not need the virtual headset.
Oh,
But
wow.
you'll still be able to be immersed in it. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's what the patent was for, which is really, really interesting. This article was dated yesterday, and that patent has been approved on the 9th of January. And I mean, when a company of this size comes into the space, it's a huge uplift for the whole space, and really shows that this, again, like we know, this is the future. And if you think about the effect of the pandemic, what it's had on Disneyland, it's been massive. First of all, their parks, which is a big part of their income throughout the world. A lot of them have had to close for long periods of time. And then on top of that, the movie revenue. A lot of movie houses have had to close. So they're really one of the worst hit sectors. The things that they have going for them is obviously their like their Netflix type thing where you pay to watch, and that's looking really great. They're still early; they're not making money from that at the moment, but they will, and they've got no shortage of content. Whereas Netflix has got all the users and busy making content. Disney's the opposite.
Yeah.
They've got all the content, and they're getting the users. I think they picked up 1 million users in like a day or something. I mean, so they'll get there. And obviously their movie revenue, and this reimagining of all these different stories that we've watched before and all the superhero stuff. But
Yeah.
again, if there's no movies to show it on, then it becomes a bit of a challenge for them. So the metaverse really makes sense. If they could have movies showing there, where anyone in the world can go to the premiere of the latest movie and have events and have a Disney World in the metaverse. I think it's incredible. So it's something really exciting.
Well, and if I could
And
just jump in, Philip, too, think
yeah,
about the uh Disney IP, right? Like you said, they have all the superhero stuff, they've got all the princesses, they've got all the intellectual property. And I think personally they could be the metaverse that stands the test of time, right? Like Facebook turned into Meta, but they don't have anything. They've got a user base and a social idea. But when you've got Disney and they've got all the characters, imagine a metaverse where you're walking around with Iron Man and Spider-Man, right? Like
for
that
sure.
that's something that is really enticing to a lot of people. So if you've got the IP, I think they're going to be the one that makes it through.
I agree. I mean, I think it's great. Also, they've got no shortage of artwork to do NFT collections,
That's
right?
true.
I mean, they
Exactly.
could just
Yeah.
launch them throughout. I mean, it's just incredible. I'm sure that's not their main focus. They want to build an amazing destination, a virtual destination. But yeah, I mean, that's really interesting and really exciting. And then just one other thing, Steve Aoki spent 270 ETH Doodle. At the time, that was $862,000. Before him was Pranksy, just a few days before, who spent 296 Ethereum, which was $1.12 million. I still can't believe I sold my doodle at 2.7, number one. And number two, I still can't believe that the rise of doodles has been so quick. I was expecting it to be more gradual. I knew it was a great project. I knew the founders were seasoned and great. And when I sold, I intended on getting back in when it dipped, and it has not dipped. It's just completely carried on going. So yeah, interesting. Doodles is doing incredible. I think last I checked, they're about a 10.5 or 11 ETH floor. Going to be interesting to see when this slows down a bit, which our friend Gas might slow everything down a bit. Hopefully
Yeah.
not, but it's going to be
Everyone's
interesting to see.
everyone's best friend, gas.
Yeah,
It's such a
it's going to
pain.
be interesting to see the support level that Doodle comes back to.
Yeah.
But I think 10 ETH is the new normal for them. So
Oh
yeah,
wow.
interesting stuff. So listen, guys, we've got an amazing show for you. That was just a little bit of news, but the show we're looking at today, there's so many NFTs out there, different types of NFTs, with different utility, and it can get really confusing. And quite overwhelming to know which one you want to go for. Like, obviously you want to go for stuff that you enjoy, like, Morland loves gaming. And if he came to me, 6 months ago and said, what first NFT should he buy? I would have suggested something to do with gaming. There wasn't much out there then, but that works with his thing. On my side, I'm quite artistic, so maybe an art project would be best for me. Obviously, as you get more into it, if you want to have more than one NFT, it's probably a good idea to have a mixed bag just from an investment perspective. But we wanted to take you through the different types of NFTs that you get, different types of utility that these NFTs are, and the different types of NFTs that they are, and explain each and every one to you so that you're better equipped to understand when you see these words like breeding and staking and DAO, what it all means, and practical examples of those. So that's going to be tonight's show, a bit of a explanation guide. So we're going to start with DAO, and Morland's going to teach us about DAOs.
Yeah. So DAOs. Oh, what is it? That's is an acronym for decentralized autonomous organization. Right. So a lot of different NFT projects try and promise this later in the roadmap. Once they're all minted out, you'll see that it was a big buzzword a lot of times in the roadmap, DAO coming, or community DAO or whatever. So the idea behind that is that the community runs the organization. So you as a holder of this NFT are granted a vote. So for every NFT you hold, you're given a vote, and you're also part of that as part of that community, you're also able to introduce proposals to improve the community. So it's a little bit different than when you see these exclusive communities like Bored Ape Yacht Club, or yesterday or the other day we talked about Gutter Cat Gang, where they focus on community and providing sort of a VIP experience for their holders. That's a great utility if that's what you're looking for. You've been given a community to hang out with, and somewhat of status, because there's other people like celebrities and athletes that hold this, and you're just excited to be a part of that VIP exclusive community. A DAO, on the other hand, there's actually work that goes into this. You can be a holder and just vote, but a true DAO and a successful DAO is one that has the community behind it, that's creating proposals and has the ability, not only in the team but in within the community, the members of the community, to execute on those proposals. So it's like running a business. And that would be one thing that I would caution when you're looking into different projects and they're saying they're going to have a DAO. Make sure you get into the Discord, ask a few questions, see who's part of the team and if it's actually going to be capable. Who's running the DAO? Who's going to do the work? Do they have the legal behind it? Because there's a lot of ins and outs when it comes to the legal side of things. So DAOs are great. I think the future of NFTs, and the one solid use case for NFTs is a DAO, for whether that's in your in politics or within business, or however communities are going to be run in the future. I think DAOs are slowly going to be incorporated. So try getting in on one early now. Check one out. Get involved. Vote on the proposals, and who knows where that community could go. So that's a little bit about DAOs. And what to watch out for when you're looking into these NFT DAO programs. So, like I said, two things: are the founders able to do it, or put behind? Do they have what it takes to put behind the words "we're doing a DAO"? Are they willing to put the work in? And then is the community there to back this DAO? So, yeah. DAOs, quick overview.
It sounds similar to like shareholders in a public company, and you go to a shareholder meeting, and a certain time things are put for votes. And if you own shares, you have a vote in it. The more shares you own, the bigger the vote you have, right?
Similar, but you could actually propose something, right? Like I could, as a holder, I could do a proposal for what I want to see the next steps of this NFT project take. Like, let's say there is no staking for the project, and I'm a programmer, and I would know how to create a great staking pool for this community. I would write my proposal, present it to the community. It would be presented at your next town hall, and then all the holders would vote on it. So not only is it getting people to vote, it's also getting people involved. So
it's almost like the community is actually making the decisions. The founders are not making the decision.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's sort of what I wanted you to be wary of, right? When you find a community, after mint, after the founders have put all this work into creating the artwork, building the community, are they willing to relinquish some of that control and some of that power to the community to allow it to actually be a true DAO? So that's decentralized autonomous organizations compared to, say, a VIP exclusive community.
100%. Cool. All right, so then I wanted to touch on art projects. Now, straight away you think of Artblocks. And within Artblocks, you get different collections by different artists. About 2 months ago, they actually split up the collection like this into different categories. But before, it all used to be under the same Artblocks curated umbrella. It's still under there, but it's now in different categories, and you click on different artists and have a look at what they have. Obviously, some collections are a lot more valuable than others, or a lot more sought after, and therefore a lot more valuable. But I mean, this one looks quite cool. Let's just click on it. And you'll see each collection within the Artblocks curated has got its own collection size, obviously its own account, floor price. So it's just an NFT within it. But the nice thing about Artblocks curated is that it gives artists who otherwise wouldn't have the know-how on how to start their own projects an opportunity to do it under the umbrella of Artblocks. And Artblocks helps them along with all the stuff that they have strength in, obviously, the contracts, and assisting with guidance on many things that have to do with the NFT side, so that the artists can really focus on their art and the thing that they're good at. And every art project is different, but most of the art projects, there isn't the same utility that we were talking about before with normal NFTs. So there isn't really going to be, another collection afterwards that is airdropped, and you're not going to see things that you usually look for in this, because people are buying it for the art. And typically we'll just keep it as an art piece, have it on a digital frame, or have it on a normal printed piece of canvas, and have it framed in their house. So I mean, that's a good example. You then have your equivalent of your Bored Apes, and those are the Fedenzas. And if you look over here, their floor price at the moment is 78 Ethereum for one of them. It's a collection of 999 with 500 owners. And let's just look at the activity, because some of these go for even crazier amounts. I mean, yeah. So 200 Ethereum.
Wow.
Here's a 207 Ethereum sale. So, that was middle of November-ish. It does look since then that there hasn't been those size sales, but the volume has come up. Like here, there were 4 sales in a day, which you've got to understand for a 70 ETH floor project. 4 sales it actually looks like their busiest day was 4 sales. So these are highly sought after by collectors. And again, you're not looking for community. You're not looking. This is literally a piece of digital art, but also a piece of art history. Because this is like Michael Jackson is to pop music. These are the first proper successful art NFTs, and they're going to hold significant value and historical value. So it's really interesting to see that you could sell something like this for this sort of price. You think of your Monets and your big arts in the secular world, and it's the same thing. It also sells for millions and millions of dollars. Then just to bring it into a more middle of the range art project, a good example here is Galaxy Eggs. The artwork is truly, truly beautiful, and really so detailed. Let's open this one here. This is really incredible.
Yeah, these are awesome. I love these.
I just want to show you properly. I'm just going to do that. There we go. I mean, that is really just so beautiful, and the amount of detail in it is incredible. They've been around for about 3 months now, and they really did quite well initially. Their floor price was up to about 1.5 Ethereum, and ever since then they've slowly been going down. But this is an example of an art project that also has utility. Right, so it's beautiful art, but there's also a community. You can go into Discord. Recently, they did a drop, a free airdrop. It was actually yesterday, of their second collection. I'll just find it for you in my Discord here. It's called Galaxy Warriors, and they also really stunning artwork. I think I've got too many channels here, Heath.
Yeah,
gotta sell some NFTs, right? So here's a preview. So it's basically people in a scene. I'll try to find a better version. If I open the original, you should be able to see it better. Let's see.
Cool.
Yeah, and there's obviously lots of different scenes. Lots of different sneak peeks. I'll show you a few more. I mean, that's also really, really cool. You can see the mushrooms in the background. Looks
Yeah.
like something out of the space age. But this is more of a typical project like we've been talking about from the perspective that there is a roadmap. If you look in their Discord here, and they've got plans for that they've laid out to the community. I do think even the other art projects that are purely art, part of their roadmap might be that they go through to the metaverse and have an art gallery there. Right. An example of that is like Galactic Apes here have said that they're going to be doing like a virtual gallery and a physical gallery also, where they have virtual NFTs on the wall. And they also want to go into the metaverse and have a gallery in the metaverse. So in that, this is a really new project by a famous artist. I love this. I mean, this is something I can identify with. But yeah, really stunning. But I mean, so there is some sort of utility, but here, when you're looking at buying into an art project, I really think you got to say what speaks to me. And if you love it, and it's something you can afford, and you're going to treasure that, and you're going to put that, front of your house, and really every time you look at it, it gives you a warm feeling inside. Then it's worth it. Then do it, because in the end of the day, you're not looking to resell it, and you love it. So, I mean, it's very different to the utility type projects that we've spoken about before, but definitely, as you've seen from those Fedenzas, has its place in the space, a very big and prominent place. And I mean, also there, the main thing you're looking at, not so much the team, it's who is that artist. And what has that artist achieved, and what does that artist stand for? And there was the whole thing with Jungle Freaks, which I don't really want to get into, but it was that very famous artist who used to do illustrations of the cartoons for Hustler, and they came out, and the floor went mad, because here you've got a well-known, established artist, and then some people looked into some of the previous work he had done, and it was unbecoming, and that tanked the floor immediately. So when you're looking at investing in an art project that's an NFT, you really want to research the artist quite in depth, especially if it's a high value one. Something like this is 0.3 ETH. I wouldn't spend 2 months investigating the guy. But if you're looking at spending 10, 15, 20 ETH on a project, definitely look into the artist, look into his history, because you do want it to appreciate in value. Even if you love the artwork, you still do want that. So yeah, most important thing, the artist, make sure you like it, and definitely has its space in this whole NFT world.
Awesome. Now, a little bit more like utility is gaming. So a lot of projects try and promise some sort of gaming aspect as well. It's another one of those buzzword roadmap milestones that you're going to see. But a lot of other, like some projects are actually pulling it off. And I've got a few that you might want to look into, and a few different types of gaming utilities. There can be different ways that you incorporate gaming utility into NFTs, and I'm just going to go over that really quickly. So first off, we've got play to earn games like Axie Infinity. So this is sort of the OG gaming NFT in the space. So how it worked was you would buy your little monster creature, your Axie, and then you're able to battle and train and grow your Axie. And while you're battling and training, you're earning Axie token. And if you're in the crypto space, you'll know that that token has just sort of gone through the roof. And there are actually people playing this game for 8 hours a day, making more money than they would with a part-time job. So it's created a lot of opportunities for people in areas in the world that may not have the greatest economy. They're playing this game and literally making money. So it's a little bit, this one's actually pay to earn, because you do have to invest in your Axie to start playing. So your Axie is actually an NFT, and you can hold on to it, you can sell it, and you're also earning other in-game NFTs that you can trade and sell. So the Axies currently are fairly expensive, so the barrier to entry right now is kind of difficult. But one project you could take a look at is Gods Unchained. So this is run on the Immutable X blockchain, and it's very similar in the fact that when you play, you're rewarded with their Gods token, but it's a different game style. This is a card game. I have a little video here of how it's played, a turn-based card game similar to like Magic the Gathering. But when you play, you're actually earning God's token. That God's token can be used within their ecosystem to buy more packs or buy more characters, which in turn are NFTs themselves. And you can sell and trade those NFTs, making more money. Or you can swap your God's token for ETH or whatever it is you want. So this one is actually, I believe, free to play, or if not free, it's very cheap to get started. Something you should probably take a look at if you're into gaming and into crypto. But yeah, everything that's done here is NFTs. So that's your play to earn style. And then you've got sort of a passive income style NFT. Gaming NFT, and a great example of that is Wolf Game. Wolf Game, you don't really do anything, but the collecting of the NFTs and the holding of your NFTs has been gamified. So with Wolf Game, you can either have a wolf or a sheep NFT, and each night the wolves raid the sheep. The sheep produce wool, which is a token, and each night the wolves raid the sheep for the wool token and take a cut of that. So if you own a wolf, you get a certain percentage of the daily wool created. If you own sheep, you're constantly creating that wool, but it's being taken by the wolves at night. So it's an interesting way to sort of gamify your NFT collections, where you're not actually sitting in front of a computer screen spending time playing the game. So just a quick look at Wolf Game on OpenSea. You can see their floor price is about 0.8. It was actually at one point quite a bit higher. Seems to be leveling off a little bit, but yeah, here's your sheep. So you've got your sheep NFTs, but if I were to purchase one and hold one, I would then be involved in the game, and I would be generating wool. And if you hold a wolf, then you're stealing wool and you're generating wool that way. So it's a really interesting way to gamify collecting. And there's been a few derivative projects that have popped up from this as well. And then the third category that I would consider in gaming is Unreal Engine. So high quality 3D gaming. And a great example of that is My Pet Hooligan. So they're designed on the Unreal Engine, and it's designed as a PvP game, person versus person game. So with this style, you purchase your NFT, you purchase your hooligan, and then that's sort of your ticket into the game universe. You would play the game as your hooligan, and there's other aspects involved with that, but that's the main idea, is that owning that, here's a quick video as well of the actual game. Owning that NFT allows you to play the game, and just look at the quality of it. It looks like a top-notch studio game, right there. And that's basically what's happening with these projects, is they're raising capital through their NFT sales to fund the design of their video game. So rather than try and go to a big name studio like EA or Ubisoft that would potentially turn them down, these guys have turned to the community and said, hey, buy our NFTs. It's going to fund the game. Can't wait to get you guys playing. right? And then obviously you're going to earn rewards as well for being part of the community. But those are the three to kind of look at. You've got your play to earn, you've got your high quality 3D Unreal Engine gaming, and then you've got your passive income gaming where the actual collecting of your NFT has been gamified. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty more, and I'm actually going to talk about a little bit more metaverse gaming later on in the show, or Metaverse Land, which is similar to gaming but different, and we'll get into that. But yeah, that's gaming. That's gaming NFTs.
I think it's also important to see that a lot of projects on their roadmap, yeah, we're going to develop a game, and they haven't started yet. And if they sell out, they might or might not. It's very difficult to develop a game. It costs a hang of a lot of money. And I think one of the reasons that we've seen my Pet Hooligan do so incredibly well so early on is that they really are very far in the development of the game. So when you're looking at buying into gaming NFTs, do your research properly and make sure that it's NFTs that have already started development and are actually quite far, because it could take years and years to build a proper game. I have heard recently, and it's not confirmed, but I'd like to give a little bit of alpha for people who are watching through a how-to video, a bit of alpha thrown in there. But I have heard from a few alpha sources, guys big in the game, that there are rumors that Rebelbots has recently been talking to Ubisoft quite high up. So Rebelbots is about 0.3. It's quite a 3-4 month old project. But yeah, Rebelbots might be worth keeping an eye on. When I finish doing our next one, which is about breeding, I'll pull it up so I can just show everyone so that they don't go on the wrong page. Again, it's not confirmed 100%, but I have heard from 3 different sources that it's almost there. So that's just a bit of free alpha in between our video. All right, so I'm going to jump on now to breeding, and breeding is really exactly what it sounds like. It's basically when you have an NFT, and then that NFT is able to be bred so that you get a free secondary NFT. It's not always free. Sometimes you have to pay gas, only gas. Sometimes you actually have to pay a reduced mint price. So it does depend. Sometimes with different projects that have got tokens, and I'll just show you here.
There you go.
Thank you. Like BearX, for example, they've got their token. In order to mint their incubators, which is their breeding function, if you had 2 BearXs, you could mint these baby BearXs, which we haven't been revealed yet, right? But you can see their floor price is 0.18. But in order to do that, you had to burn root, which is their token. So it did cost you something to do it, but breeding is basically taking 2 and then from that having the ability or the option to breed a third. And if you don't have 2, or if you don't have enough of those tokens, you cannot make this third collection. So the nice thing about that is that it makes it quite exclusive when it is done this way, compared to just everyone who's got one is going to be airdropped another one or whatever it may be. This makes it quite exclusive because you had to hold at least 2 BearXs for about 45 days in order to get enough root to be able to mint it, and they're closing this in a few days' time. So whatever's not minted will be burnt from the baby side. So that's one example. And then the other example was the one that we spoke about the other day on the hype projects is Cryptobats. So they've taken a different approach to this, and their approach has basically been that if you own a Cryptobat and then you also own an NFT from a few different collections, they've said Bored Ape Yacht Club, Cryptoad, Subducks, and a 4th one to be announced, you'll be able to breed with those 2. So you just need 1 bat in order to do it. And then that bat, together with the NFT that you already own from one of those collections, is going to make a 3rd NFT that shares the attributes of those 2 NFTs. So that's quite a nice way of doing it, because you don't need to hold 2 bats. You're already a holder of these, because these were also, Cryptobats was pushed in these communities quite highly. It allowed Cryptobats themselves to get good partnerships also. And another example, just a unique way that projects are doing breeding.
That's really cool, actually, that they're able to integrate different communities and different NFTs and artworks. That's a really outside of the box way of looking at breeding. That's cool. I
For
like that.
sure. I want to actually see if I can find, there was a preview um, that they had on their Discord. I just want to see if I can find it quickly because I think it was in sneak peeks here, if I'm not mistaken. No, announcements maybe. If it's not here, we'll just move on. But they showed how there's a Subduck special one that they had done,
Okay,
which
interesting.
is really cool. Yeah, because Subducks is one of them. But no, it's not here now. But I'll also find that. I'll find that for you. So I'm going to find Rebel Bots, and I'm going to find this for you while Morland takes you on to staking.
We're gonna talk staking now. So staking is a mechanic that an NFT community would introduce to, one, help sort of stabilize the floor, but two, reward the people that are holding for the long term, right? If I buy, say, a 1 ETH NFT, I've just invested quite a large amount of money in that NFT, and I don't have any plans of selling it. That NFT then goes up to, say, 10 ETH, but I still have no plans of selling it because I love the community and I want to stay as part of that community. Why am I holding on to this thing? If I'm even though the floor is now 10 ETH, how am I going to get value from it? So the projects successful projects are introducing staking mechanics. And with staking, you're actually locking up your NFT, you're locking up the token so it can't be sold. And then from there, you're given a reward. So whether this reward is through a token, a utility token of some sort, like we just spoke about with the root token and the BearX project, or you're given different access to free alpha, exclusive community areas, airdrops. The list is endless, but honestly, the most common is to get a token paid out to you every so week or daily or whatever the project determines is best. But the key here is that your NFT is locked up and it can't be sold. So again, that helps with the healthy floor. And if the majority of holders aren't selling, then the floor isn't going to fluctuate much. So I want to show you a project that I'm involved in that's actually getting ready with staking. They've been planning it from the start, but it takes a lot of work. So tokenomics is no joke, and developing that staking mechanism can take time. So if the project is promising staking, give them a chance to execute because it does take some time. So that project is called Lost Boys. I've been in it for a while now. And they'll be introducing staking fairly soon. So it's a really interesting project. Their main focus is mental health. It's actually an moving backgrounds with lo-fi music attached to these. So it's really interesting art pieces to begin with, but the staking mechanic is really, really awesome. So what's going to be happening there is I'll pull up their Discord. For every one Lost Boy you hold, you'll receive 10 Lost tokens per day. Every 2 Lost Boys, you receive 20, 3, 30, and so on and so forth. So if you're staking your Lost Boy and it's not up for sale and you've staked it through their staking mechanics, you're going to receive a daily payout of this Lost token. So the Lost token is going to have future utility within their ecosystem. Now, an interesting thing that they've done is they did a free airdrop for holders, and they did Lost Girls. So they've created their Lost Girls, and that was a free mint for Lost Boy holders. Now, what does this do? Can I stake my Lost Girl? This is actually a multiplier for your staked Lost Boy. So if you're staking your Lost Boy and you're staking your Lost Girl, it's actually going to multiply the amount of tokens you earn. So there's a lot of really cool mechanics that projects can put into play here, where you're rewarded with some sort of token for holding, for being diamond handed, and then integrating their other projects, spin-offs of their project into the main collection. So I think that creates another level of utility here as well, a multiplier for your staking. And I just wanted to touch on as well, before move on, staking versus a liquidity pool. Oftentimes you'll hear about a liquidity pool and people get excited about a liquidity pool, and it is a great thing for a project. It again helps maintain a healthy floor, but with a liquidity pool, you're actually losing your NFT. You're getting liquid. You're trying to basically get out of the project and get some your funds back, or some of your funds back. So the way a liquidity pool would work is the project would set it up. They would provide liquidity for it. So they would provide Ethereum that would then, when I don't want my NFT anymore, I put it into the liquidity pool and I get basically the equivalent of the floor price back. But then I'm out of the project. I don't have my my NFT anymore. So staking allows you to continue to hold your NFT, to stay in the community, and then it actually rewards you with some sort of payout, some sort of reward.
And so if you look here, like CryptoPunks has no floor price. If you've ever wondered what that means, that will happen when everyone stakes their NFT in the whole collection and no one wants to sell theirs anymore. Then you get this sort of scenario over here where the floor price doesn't show because there is not one of them for sale. And that's what everyone who's offering staking is trying to achieve with their project, right?
Yeah, and that's similar, like we talked about with Lazy Lions. Their staking rewards program is a little bit different, but in the end, they're rewarding you for holding on to your lion. But we saw when we looked at the activity and the price action of it and the charts, they've maintained a healthy 1.5 to 2 Ethereum floor. And that's because so many people in the community are being rewarded for holding through the staking program. So
yeah, but you don't have to stake. So you don't have to actually hand over ownership, but it's a positive enforcement saying if you don't sell, we will give you this, opposed to the sort of give us your NFT to make sure you don't sell.
But you're not relinquishing ownership of your NFT when you stake. You still own it. It's just you're just not able to sell it for a certain period of time. So that staking period could be 6 months, it could be a year, or it could be just however long you personally want to stake it. The project decides that, but you still own your NFT. They're not taking it back and using it and taking the rights for it.
Trade it. You can't.
No, you can't trade. You can't sell it. So
immediately. Well, it depends. But I mean, also I know I did that with mutant cats. I staked them, but the gas was substantial to put them in. First, you have to approve the staking contract. Then you have to put it in. Then to take it out, you're going to have to pay gas again. You just think, I'd rather just leave it there. Right? So it's sort of forcing you to hold it in a way. I do know that if I wanted to, I could take it out. I could sell it, but it's sort of forcing you to stay there in a way.
It will be a better, smoother process once ETH 2.0 comes out, proof of stake comes out. I think that will start once gas gets lower, that will make the staking process a lot more viable for you, even if you're holding one, right? Like you said, the gas might be through the roof just to stake your one NFT, and it may not be worth it. But it's something to look into and something to consider. And I always really like when a project introduces staking, even if I'm not planning on staking, because I know it's going to help stabilize the floor.
It reduces the supply temporarily.
Yeah.
For sure. So I just want to, as I promised, I just want to show you, this is the Rebel bots that I was talking about. Again, not financial advice, but there has been rumors that they are in quite advanced talks with Ubisoft. So, at this price, I think it may be worth, and it's just my opinion, do your own research, maybe worth the punt, because if they announce that they've got a deal with Ubisoft, this will 10x pretty much overnight. So that was just the name of the project that I mentioned earlier, like I promised. The last type of NFTs that you get, there's two types. So the first is you get sort of an influencers NFT, like a Journey Crypto, for example, where part of the utility of the NFT is you get access to his alpha, to his first knowledge, to him knowing things first, right? So that could be, that he drops something like what I just suggested may happen with Rebelbots, or he could organize whitelist for people who own his NFT, which he does often. That he's got influence, a lot of influence in the space. And you can use that influence to get information before anyone else. And part of owning his NFT is that you will get that information earlier than anyone else. And you'll also get the ability to have things like whitelists and stuff like that. And then you get other type of influencer things like Kosher Plug. Shout out to Kosher Plug if he ever watches this. But basically his plug pass, where you get access to alpha also, to whitelist also, that sort of thing. He also is developing bots that you can use. So basically you buying the NFT to get access to information more than anything else, and access to the community. Which is quite interesting. And yeah, there's whitelists, there's, he'll tell you about things before anyone else. So that's a different type of NFT altogether. There's no artwork. They all look exactly the same. There's 844 owners of one NFT. The team, who it is. He's a public influencer in the space. So everything falls away really. And the question becomes, what alpha or what level of alpha are you going to get, and how quickly are you going to get it? And then we go into another very interesting side of NFTs, which is quite new, but I do believe will have a very big future use case. And I do think a lot of NFTs are going to look like this in the future. And that is that one is linked to products. So like we saw with Adidas. So again here, this NFT is the same for all 20 whatever thousand holders. There were 30,000 NFTs. I think there's about 23,000 holders. Everyone has the same visual. But what product are you going to get? Well, they say here that you're going to be getting physical merchandise, a Firebird tracksuit, right, as the one that was shown in that commercial over here. Then you also going to be getting a graphic hoodie as featured in Punk's comics. And then you're also going to be getting G Money's classic orange beanie as well. So here you can see that what you're getting, the beanie's there as well. Yeah. What you're getting, I think because I'm streaming, it's taking a bit too much. There's the tracksuit there. But
That's
basically,
cool.
So you're getting the NFT, and hopefully people want to be a part of this, and that NFT will appreciate in value over time. But you're also getting products that are linked to it. And once they've dropped those, I have no doubt that they'll come back and they'll say, okay, next time round, we're going to be dropping the following things for next year or whatever it may be. They also have plans to be in the metaverse, big plans and things like that. But that's just an example of a project that owning the NFT is a beginning to get access to their products. And then you get service NFTs, right? Similar to what we were saying with Kosher Plug, that he's developing bots. So this is a subscription to a service, right? So just like you'd usually send in a check, and that would come back with a little membership card saying you now a member, and you would get whatever that was, whether that be a subscription to a magazine or whatever that used to be. Here you're getting an NFT instead of your membership card, and that NFT is your subscription to whatever product these companies are selling. So Ninja Alerts is quite a well-known company that is you're able to get the app once you own the NFT. And once you set up that app, you're able to get special alerts customized to you when wallets you follow mint something or buy something. You can set it up the way you want it, and you literally get an alert to your phone saying, "Oh, Pranksy just bought a doodle for 100 Ethereum. Do you want to do?" And then you go in and buy one for 100 Ethereum, right? No, so that's Ninja Alerts, and you get other examples of it like Cyber Babies here, which is really an exciting one. 1 ETH floor price, and they're working on a whole lot of different bots. So the one is a contract bot to help you mint sooner than others. Another one is an OpenSea bot that will tell you when something rare is near the floor price, and you can set up the parameters of when you want to be notified and when you don't. Then there's a normal rarity bot that, like similar to what I've shown you guys before on mine, where, well, these will all be the same rarity, but where it will show you the rarity on your OpenSea, and then a bid bot where it can actually put bids in for you. So you can sort of say, well, if you see a rarity 100 out of a 10,000 collection under 5 Ethereum, you give it permission to actually buy on your behalf. So even if you're not there, that transaction will go through. So that's just another example of, the NFT itself. And this happens to be an image, but you're not really worried about the artwork per se. You want the features and the services that having that NFT will give you.
Awesome. And then the last one we're going to touch on today, and quite possibly the one you could maybe go the most in depth on, is Metaverse Land. I'm going to try and keep it simple, but I was actually talking about Metaverse Land with my father, and he's in his 60s, and he just really couldn't comprehend it. So I'm gonna try and keep it simple and explain it here. So just like buying an NFT, you can buy like an image, a profile picture image. You can buy a chunk of digital land, which is an NFT. So the NFT says that you own this piece of land in an already existing metaverse that's been created, and what you do with that land is up to you. So you can develop it, you can hold it and sell it eventually when somebody else wants to develop it. The possibilities are really endless if you have the ability to develop this land, right? It's the metaverse, it's a video game. You could really do whatever you wanted. So some really popular metaverse land plays right now are Sandbox. You may have heard of them. The Sand token is kind of just exploding, and Sandbox Land itself has actually gone through the roof as well. So Sandbox is a metaverse game where if you own land, you can create your own space. So Snoop Dogg, I don't know, you see him here. Snoop Dogg has his own metaverse land where you can go and interact with other people in Snoop Dogg's metaverse. What else is there? There's Atari, there's Walking Dead, there's all kinds of big name brands that have already bought up chunks of of Sandbox land and are developing it into games or some type of metaverse. So NFT collection, there's already a NFT museum, all different kinds of things that you can do within Sandbox. It's in its alpha stages right now, but you could actually purchase the land on OpenSea. So right now the floor price for land is 3.5 ETH. But what you're buying is like this small little orange square, right? So these have all been bought up and have already started to develop. If we go back, so you can see
how big is that square?
So this square, this one is, I don't know the exact dimensions. Let's see.
I mean, could you build something on that worthwhile?
I think you would probably want something a little bit bigger. I don't really know. I'm not sure. I personally, if if I wanted to buy land, which I do, I would want to buy to hold and potentially flip, hold it for the long term. And when somebody like, this isn't financial advice, by the way, but when somebody like, let's see here, I don't know. Look, you've got a Bored Ape here. Somebody that owns this Bored Ape bought up all this land and owns it. So when somebody like that is like, oh, I want this chunk of land close to, I don't know, the board, like let's say this guy right here, this one. Let's say somebody wanted this chunk of land here, this these 9 squares to be close to this community, whatever it is. Then they can get all of these except this last one. I'm the last holdout. I could ask for whatever it is I want, really, right? The highest to the highest bidder. So land is an interesting play. I think it will hold its value long term, and it's just going to continue to be more. It's really there's not a lot of it, right? Like it's an asset that's diminishing. So Sandbox is one land play. You can also look at Decentraland. That's another metaverse play that's out there, and you can purchase land and own land, as well as everything else. Everything in Sandbox, everything in Decentraland is an NFT. Your wearables, your items, those are all NFTs. But you can also own the land and develop the land. So within Decentraland, you can purchase and own your chunk of Decentraland. Here it is on OpenSea. So again, you're buying these smaller chunks, but you've got big names buying up land in. You've got big names buying up land in Decentraland, like Atari. They have their own casino there, and another one that I would take some time to consider is called Treeverse. Treeverse is really interesting to me. What they're trying to do is become the blockchain RuneScape. So RuneScape is an MMO game from back in the day. It came out in the early 2000s and it's still rocking today. Shout out to anyone playing RuneScape still. I know a few people. But what they're trying to do is create the blockchain RuneScape. So it's a fantasy world where your character, which would be an NFT, is traveling through this fantasy land. The chunks of land are actually owned by individual people. And on that land could be something that person needs to do. Say it's a task like mining or chopping down wood or fishing or whatever it might be. That person's quest for the day, they might have to spend an hour on your land doing that activity, and you're earning as they're doing that activity on your land. They've also incorporated NF trees. So if you own a tree and plant this on your land, it's going to earn you more tokens, more income. I think it's just a really, look at the price of these trees. There's only 420 of them. The floor price is almost 13 ETH. So it's a really cool collection. Here's the creator of it, Loopify, and this is just an image of kind of what the world would look like. So it's 8-bit. It's not super high quality graphics, but it's this giant world where you would own these chunks of land, and whatever goes on in those chunks of land earns you a reward. And I think it's a really, really cool concept, and it's one that actually is a bit more affordable as well if you're looking at some land plays. But again, not financial advice.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of these big land ones come out recently. NFT Worlds has absolutely skyrocketed up to 4 Ethereum. And really incredible. One NFT land, which you buy as an NFT, is as big as the whole of Sandbox. So it's a vast NFT. It's been built on the Minecraft ecosystem. They've already got a token in place, and that's why you're seeing it go parabolic. They're really quite far on, and you're seeing a lot of projects who want to get into the metaverse buying these worlds, these NFT worlds, as an easy entry and developing on them. Another one that's blown up recently is Worldwide Web Lands, and one that hasn't blown up that hopefully will is Properties. But those are the three recent ones that we've seen. But I see our time is up, my friend.
Yeah,
what do they need to do?
Mother Nature's telling us that.
Can you hear the storm?
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah, Mother Nature's telling us it's over.
South African storm happening there. So, guys, you need to subscribe.
Yeah, like the video. Stick around for tomorrow's live. Come back. Yeah, we're loving doing these. Like all of our past videos, like all of our future videos. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell button. And we'll see you tomorrow,
and come
guys.
to our Discord. Come to our Discord. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. We've got a great episode tomorrow. We look forward to seeing you then. Ciao.
Peace, guys.